The Dr. Ray Podcast is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio. Here's today's monologue with Dr. Ray Guarendi.
If you are currently raising children, or let's say you have, and you're looking back a little bit because it's not that all far back in the misty past, and you go to confession, there's a high likelihood that, bless me, Father, before I had children, I was pretty nice. Now, I don't think I'm pretty or nice. And so, a lot of your confession material surrounds your frustration with your kids. Agitation, saying things you regret, losing your cool. So where's all this frustration come from? Now, I toyed with doing a 2 or 3 part monologue about that, and it may come to that depending upon how far along I get today. What are some of the causes of parents getting frustrated with kids? And that is such a pervasive report in my office. People coming in saying, I not only have not any control, but I am incredibly frustrated. Let me start with the most prominent reality. Everybody talks about children being a wonderful reward from God, a gift from the heavens. And they are. There's no question they are. And you totally underestimate how much they capture your heart and your soul, of course. But that does not mean they can always be easy to live with. By their very nature, by their very development, they are immature, impulsive, partially socialized, partially moralized. In other words, you wouldn't hang around with an adult who acted like a 9-year-old. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't want him to be in your life. You get frustrated with them. Now, of course, you love your children. And so, therefore, you do hang around with them. But that doesn't mean they can't get on your nerves. They're kids. They do all kinds of stuff that is kid stuff. They repeat the same misbehaviors. They nag. They're impulsive. They resist rules. And this isn't putting them down. This is reality. It's who they are. Come on. Before you get too down on them, look at yourself. We're still doing it, and we're many decades older. And part of that is a naturally frustrating experience. So therefore, you get frustrated. Now, one way to get past that frustration is to expect them to act like kids. Quit thinking they're little adults. Quit thinking they're not going to pull stunts. They're not going to repeat misconduct. They're not going to get moody. They're not going to do things that you're thinking, why would they do that? I'm trying to teach them otherwise. What is wrong with them? When are they going to learn? Hey, watch yourself when you say that one. Because I can picture God looking at us going, when are you going to learn? So, the first thing to lower your frustration, realize that you are raising a child. If you expect them to act more mature than they are, to more self-controlled than they are, to more conscience-guided than they are, you'll get frustrated. One of the things I learned personally up close with my 10, I expected just about anything. After a while, there wasn't too much they could do that would rock my world. So, that frustration comes from the fact that somehow, either in the front of your mind or the back of your mind, you expect these kids not to act like kids. Now, I'm looking at the clock. I could go on another one here, but maybe I'll give you another one tomorrow. So the first lesson to lower your frustration is to recognize the nature of the souls that are entrusted to you. Once you realize that, you won't get quite so frustrated at having to send him at the corner for the 9th time today. If you have to, you did. Okay. Why doesn't he stop? Why does he always push me to do that? 'Cause he's a 9-year-old boy. You want any better explanation? That's probably the best one I got.
More of Dr. Ray's Monologues can be found on his website, drray.com. Monologues as well as full-length programs of The Doctor Is In can be heard at AveMariaRadio.net and EWTN.com/radio.